Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Welcome back to Spanish Lessons with Professor Jason, your guide to Spanish. In this lesson, I'm going to take a look at two Spanish verbs that tend to cause problems for English-speaking learners. I'm not talking about ser and estar. In this case, we're talking about saber and conocer. Now, the reason these verbs can be confusing is that many of their meanings and uses, at least in the present tense, are covered by just one verb, of course, to know in English. So basically, when we're trying to speak Spanish, and we want to express some idea associated with knowing, to know a person, to know a date, to know how to do something, etc. We're not sure whether to use saber or conocer. So it's basically the same problem we have with verb pairs like ser and estar, or even preguntar and pedir, or the prepositions por and para. Okay? So what I'm going to do in this video is explain the primary differences between the uses and meanings of saber and conocer in Spanish. We'll also review the forms in the present and preterite tenses and briefly discuss some of the differences in meaning that come up when we use these verbs in the past. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started with an overview of the primary meanings of each verb in Spanish. Alright, simply put, in Spanish, saber means to know information or facts, to know something by heart, in other words, to have it memorized, or to know how to do something. Okay, this is primarily in the present tense and in general. On the other hand, conocer in Spanish means to know or to have met a person, to be familiar with a place, thing, concept, etc., to be familiar with, all right, or to visit or to have been somewhere, someplace. Moving on to the next slide, we can see the forms for both verbs, saber and conocer, in the present tense, right? Notice that both verbs have irregular yo forms. So we have yo sé and yo conozco. But all the other forms are regular for ER verbs. Sabes, conoces, sabe, conoce, sabemos, conocemos, sabéis, conocéis, saben, conocen. So just the yo forms are irregular. So what I want to do in these next few slides is sort of to isolate each of those primary uses of the verbs, saber and conocer, and to give you some examples of each so you can see how they would be used, all right? So on this slide we have saber in the sense of to know information or facts. Examples. Yo sé dónde vives. I know where you live. That's a fact. ¿Sabes la respuesta a su pregunta? Do you know the answer to his question? Do you know it? Do you know that information? Ellos no saben a qué hora empieza la película. Ellos no saben a qué hora empieza la película. They don't know what time the movie starts. They don't have that bit of information. Or, todos sabemos lo que pasó aquí. We all know what happened here. We're all aware of what happened here. And as I mentioned before, saber is also used when we want to talk about knowing something by heart, having committed something to memory. Some examples. ¿Ella sabe mi teléfono? Does she know my number? No, no lo sabe. In other words, she doesn't have it memorized. Yo sé la letra de esa canción de memoria. Yo sé la letra de esa canción de memoria. I know the lyrics of that song by heart. You can also get that idea of knowing something by heart or having something memorized by making the verb saber reflexive, like in the last example. ¿Te sabes la contraseña de la cuenta? Do you know the passport for this account? Sí, claro que me la sé. By using the reflexive pronouns with the verb, I'm communicating that idea of memorization or knowing something by heart. And the last frequent use of the verb saber in general or in the present tense we're going to look at is to know how to do something. Examples. ¿Sabes cocinar? I'm asking if you know how to cook. Sí, sé cocinar muy bien. Nosotros no sabemos esquiar. We don't know how to ski. ¿Ustedes saben hablar portugués? Do you know how to speak Portuguese? You will if you watch my other videos, right? Julio sabe arreglar coches. Julio sabe arreglar coches. Julio knows how to fix cars. So saber is the verb we use to talk about knowing how to do something. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about some of the uses of the verb conocer, beginning with to know a person. Examples. ¿Conoces a María? Do you know María? No, no la conozco. ¿Quién es? Todos conocemos a Paco. We all know Paco. No conoces a mis padres, ¿verdad? You don't know my parents, right? Do you? Sí, los conozco hace mucho tiempo. Los conozco hace mucho tiempo. Yes, I've known them for a long time. So, conocer, to know a person, to have met a person, to be familiar with a person. On this next slide, what I've done is I've lumped a couple of similar uses of conocer together, okay? First of all, to be familiar with something, such as a thing or an idea or a concept, or to be familiar with somewhere, either in the sense of to just be familiar with it or to have actually been there or to visit a place. Let's take a look at the examples. Conozco muy bien esa teoría. I'm very familiar with that theory. La conozco muy bien. Vosotras no conocéis esa religión. Vosotras no conocéis esa religión. You're not familiar with that religion. You don't know its precepts. Talking about places. ¿Conoces Portland? Do you know Portland? But that, in a different context, ¿conoces Portland? Could also mean, have you ever been to Portland? Okay. Sí, conozco Portland muy bien. Yes, I'm very familiar with Portland. Okay. Or, si vas a Francia, debes conocer París. Si vas a Francia, debes conocer París. If you go to France, you must visit Paris. Debes conocer París. All right, back to a focus on form. Let's take a look at the forms in the preterite of saber and conocer. Okay, you can see them here. A couple things to point out. Saber has an irregular stem, S-U-P, sup, and some irregular endings in the preterite, right? But the forms of conocer in the preterite are all regular. So we have supe, conocí, supiste, conociste, supo, conoció, supimos, conocimos, supistes, conocisteis, supieron, conocieron. Those are the forms in the preterite. All right, now that we've seen the forms in the preterite and we know them, right? Ahora que las sabemos, we're going to talk about the fact that the verbs saber and conocer actually take on special or different meanings when they're used in the preterite. So, something to pay attention to. In the preterite, saber means to find out or to discover something. Supe la verdad anoche. I found out the truth last night. Or, ¿supiste que Juan sufrió un accidente? ¿Supiste que Juan sufrió un accidente? Did you hear, right? Did you hear the news? Juan was in an accident. In the preterite, conocer means to meet someone. Conocimos a tus amigos en el crucero. Conocimos a tus amigos en el crucero. We met your friends, past tense, on the cruise. Or, la conocí ayer en una fiesta. Should have an accent on that form. La conocí ayer en una fiesta. I met her last night at a party. Now what this really means is that most of the time we're going to use the verbs saber and conocer in the imperfect tense in the past, okay? So the imperfect is used to communicate the regular meanings, in other words, knew or did not know in the past, right? So some examples. Yo sabía la respuesta, pero no dije nada. Sabía la respuesta, pero no dije nada. Ellos no sabían que nosotros iríamos. Ellos no sabían que nosotros iríamos. They didn't know that we would go. Mis amigos conocían la ciudad mejor que yo. Mis amigos conocían la ciudad mejor que yo. They knew the city better than I did. Yo no conocía a Juan en aquel entonces. No conocía a Juan en aquel entonces. I didn't know Juan back then. So again, most of the time when we want to express knew or did not know in the past, which is the most frequent use of these verbs, we're going to use the imperfect. We only use the preterite of saber and conocer for those specialized meanings we saw on the previous slides. Okay, now that's enough of me explaining. It's time to see how much you've learned, all right? Now I've prepared a little quiz that you're going to see on the next slide. I'll talk you through each item, but you're going to have to decide whether to use saber or conocer and which form would be correct. So get out a notebook and a pencil, all right? Are you ready? Let's take a look at that slide with the quiz then. All right, as promised, here's the slide with the quiz on it. What I'm going to do is walk you through each one, saying in English sort of what I was thinking. That should help you to be able to understand which verb, which tense should go in the blank. All right, here we go. Number one, I was thinking, you don't know my address yet? You don't know my address yet? Number two, they know what they need to buy. Number three, present tense, do you know my sister? Number four, yes, I know her. I met her last night. So there's two on that item. Number 5, I don't know when your birthday is. I don't know when your birthday is. 6, she doesn't know the poem by heart. She doesn't know the poem by heart. 7, your parents travel a lot. Do they know Madrid? Have they been to Madrid? Are they familiar with Madrid? Number 8, you all know how to dance very well. You guys know how to dance very well. Number 9, when did you find out about, the news? When did you hear the news? When did you find out? Number 10, where should we meet? Where are we going to meet? Are you familiar with the Plaza Colón? Do you know the Plaza Colón? Number 11, he did not know that he shouldn't smoke here. He didn't know that you shouldn't smoke here. All right. When you're done writing down your answers to the blanks, go ahead and restart the video. So you can pause now. So, if you've restarted the video, that means you must be done with the quiz, right? You're ready to see the answers. So let's see how well you did. So obviously, I've placed the correct or the best answers in yellow. Let's go over them really quickly. Number 1 should be, ¿Tú no sabes mi dirección todavía? ¿No sabes mi dirección todavía? Ellos saben lo que necesitan comprar. Ellos saben lo que necesitan comprar. So number 1, it's information that you should know by now. Number 2, it's facts that they might know. Number 3, ¿conoces a mi hermana? ¿Conoces a mi hermana? Again, the idea of to know someone, to be familiar with a person. Sí, la conozco. La conocí anoche. So the first blank is, again, knowing a person. The second one is in the preterite. It means to have met, right? I met her last night. Number 5, yo no sé cuándo es tu cumpleaños. Again, knowledge of information or facts. No sé cuándo es tu cumpleaños. 7, ella no sabe el poema de memoria. Ella no sabe el poema de memoria. Again, to know something by heart is saber. 7, tus padres viajan mucho. ¿Conocen Madrid? ¿Conocen Madrid? Are they familiar? Have they been to Madrid? Again, to be familiar with a place or to have been to a place, to visit it. Number 8, vosotras sabéis bailar muy bien. Vosotras sabéis bailar muy bien. To know how to do something is saber. 9, ¿cuándo supiste la noticia? ¿Cuándo supiste? When did you find out, right? To find out in the past, that's our past use of saber. 10, ¿dónde nos encontramos? ¿Conoces la Plaza Colón? Are you familiar with la Plaza Colón? We could meet there. And then finally 11, él no sabía que no debía fumar aquí. No sabía que no debía fumar aquí. He didn't know. So to express not knowing in the past, we're going to use the imperfect form, in this case of saber. Alright, that concludes my presentation on the differences between the verbs saber and conocer in Spanish. I hope that you found it to be helpful and informative. As always, I welcome your comments, questions, and suggestions. So if you've got a moment, please do leave a comment and let me know what you thought about this lesson. Now, if you liked this video, I hope you'll check out my other lessons on various topics in Spanish and Portuguese. You can also find more content on my website at professorjason.com and receive even more frequent updates by joining my Facebook community or following me on Twitter. Okay? And I'll put that information up on the screen here in just a second. Thanks again for watching. This has been Professor Jason, your guide to Spanish, and I'll see you at the next lesson. Hasta pronto. Ciao.